reminder that the film Passport to Terror will now be shown next Monday at 2:15 here on BBC Two.
Here at Westminster, the whips are out and commentators are sharpening their hyperbole for one of those great British parliamentary occasions, an attempt to humiliate ministers and defeat the government. And it's in the name of that greatest sin in the lexicon of the Commons, allegedly misleading the House. The truth is the government's majority seems likely to prevail, but it's going to be close. Join me in 5 minutes.
Here with the latest from the newsroom, now on BBC Two, Moira Stuart.
Good afternoon, and with less than an hour to go before the crucial Commons debate on the Scott report, the government is still trying to avert a backbench rebellion. It's expected ministers will announce measures to improve their accountability and review export controls. But the government's fate could be determined by the Ulster Unionists, who are still keeping their voting intentions secret.
So, Nicholas, if the government loses tonight, will you resign?
No.
It wasn't the Attorney General's day. He's charged with wrongly telling ministers they had no option but to sign the public interest immunity certificates in the Matrix Churchill trial. But as he tried to insist that he hadn't been booked by the Scott report, his car was being booked by a traffic warden. In the Commons a few minutes ago, Michael Heseltine insisted he had had the correct advice.
The judge did consider the papers. He did think they should be released. They were released. The trial proceeded on that basis, and two of the defence counsel at that time said they thought the attorney had behaved properly.
The Public Services Minister Roger Freeman will wind up the debate tonight, hoping to sway wobbly backbenchers by promising to act on the Scott recommendations. But Labour claims there's no way out.
Scott has thrown the book at the government, and their attempts to plead not guilty have been well and truly rumbled, and we are right to press the attack, and any concessions reflect the success of our efforts.
Once again, the Ulster Unionist votes will be decisive, and they won't say what they're doing till shortly before the key vote.
Government officials and Sinn Féin leaders are due to meet in Belfast this afternoon. It's the first meeting since the end of the IRA ceasefire, though no negotiations will take place. In London, soldiers in combat fatigues replaced ceremonial guards outside Buckingham Palace and other royal residences after maps of them were found at the home of the Aldwych bus bomber. A car apparently driven by a Palestinian has crashed into a crowd of people waiting at a bus stop in East Jerusalem. It's thought at least 2 people were killed and several others injured. It's not yet known whether the crash was deliberate or accidental. Funerals have been held across Israel for many of the 25 victims of yesterday's 2 suicide bombings. Cuba claims to be holding a pilot thought to be one of the 4 shot down over the weekend. America says the incident in which 2 civilian planes were attacked was a contravention of international law, which Cuba denies. Here, the RSPCA has accused the authorities of playing down the scale of the Sea Empress oil tanker disaster off the west coast of Wales. It says that tens of thousands of seabirds will need treatment from the effects of the oil spill, and the scale of the problem is far greater than officially stated. And that's the news this afternoon. We're back at 6 o'clock on BBC One.
Good afternoon. Thomas Creedon, the child whose case sparked a national debate over euthanasia, has died from cerebral palsy following a chest infection. Thomas from Keyingham on Humberside was born blind, deaf and with no control over his limbs. His parents were fighting a legal battle to be allowed to stop feeding him artificially. Miners in South Yorkshire have voted overwhelmingly against strike action. The NUM called the ballot after RJB Mining rejected the union's 6% pay claim. The NUM president, Arthur Scargill, blamed the result on bullying tactics, but RJB said it was a vote for common sense. The Conservative MP for Stamford and Spalding, Quentin Davies, is to vote against the government in tonight's debate on the Scott report. Mr Davies says the integrity of public life is more important than individuals or the government. That's it from us for now. We're back at 6:30. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Much more settled weather, I think, in the next few days. That means to say that we will have some fog around and frost as well. Now, at the moment, on the latest satellite picture, quite a scattering of shower clouds and the showers to go with them. And we will find some showers moving across to the east in the next few hours. One or two of them on the heavy side. There'll be wintry over the hills as well. and temperatures this afternoon not far off normal for the time of year. During this evening tonight, although most of the showers will die away, some feeding, I think, along the south coast there, and 1 or 2 into the northwest of Scotland. But as temperatures fall and skies stay fairly clear, we will find, I think, some mist and fog patches forming, and certainly, if nothing else, a widespread frost, that is, away from the coast. Tomorrow, the fog rather reluctant to clear. Once it does, then it's going to be bright and dry in most parts of the country. That's all for now.
Today's The Day can be seen much later than usual at 5:30. This is due to our extended coverage at Westminster, which starts in just a moment.
They're called the Besiege, or Mobilized Force for the Oppressed. It was they who carried out the suicide missions of the Iran-Iraq War. And it's they who are now willing to go to the same lengths to keep Iran pure and free from Western culture. Now, for the first time, Western cameras have been given access to film freely amongst a people ruled through fear under the watchful eyes of extremists whose only wish is to die for their cause. Guardians of the Ayatollah, an assignment special, Wednesday at 7 on BBC Two.
So, a crucial debate in Parliament now on BBC Two, a specially extended Westminster with Nick Ross.